So what's my greatest fear? Not being able to raise my kids or my daughters to be grateful, responsible, healthy, kind, generous, enough to help other people. Wow, dami. It's hard for moms to see their own insecurities and mistakes mirrored by their daughters. But there's no proven formula to do this. Just learning, guidance, and crossing our fingers that they will find their own path. For our Mother's Day special, and Chic Chat's 1 year anniversary, we will be talking about how to raise empowered daughters. I am Jeanette Ipaputwason, and together we're here to bring you your best life in bullet points. So today's guest is a mother and daughter tandem, which is known for spreading positive vibes across a range of media. So we'll first introduce the mommy, a noted vlogger, blogger, social media personality, and entrepreneur, a mother, wife, fashionista, interior decorator. Oh my God, sobrang dami. And of course, her latest accolade, she's a fur parent. Let us give it up for Cat Arambulo-Antonio. And of course, her daughter, joining us today, the founder and CEO of a non-profit organization that advocates for quality education, Landas PH, the visionary director of ACO Organization PH, and of course, the daughter. My God, parang the daughter is the mom. Let's welcome Dani and Cat Antonio. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, how are you? Exactly right.
Grabe, mas serious pa yung introduction.
She's like so focused and so driven. I'm just like a jack of all trades, no?
Very, very, different. But anyway, let's talk about the two of you. So I'm gonna start, by giving the audience a quick background of who you guys are. Let's start with Kat. Kat, tell us something about yourself.
Okay, do you want to know Kat before ECQ or Kat after ECQ? Because those are two different people, ha? That's like night and day.
We'll start with the Kat before ECQ.
Oh, before ECQ, wala. I was always busy working so much that, I was creating products. I was doing brand collaborations, endorsements. I was all over the place, basically, and I would spend time with family, but not as much as I could and should, right? And even my charity endeavors, medyo, patingit-tingit lang. So after ECQ, after my whole shenanigan there, that's where I was really able to, no, it's true, right? It's true. My whole episode, I was really able to really dissect myself, and I completely changed because, number one, nag-yoga instructor pa ako. I took that 200 yoga teacher training, because I was like, there must be something wrong with me already, right? Like I need to dig myself up to be able to fix myself and create a stronger foundation. So, it's through that. That's when I realized all the things that I was becoming from my Cat 1.0 and to the person that I would rather become and what I would want to exude to the world, right? So that really changed me and changed my focus and person altogether. So I think it's such a blessing in disguise, all these things that happened, right? So yeah. So right now I'm focused mainly. Okay, number one, I'm a fur mom now. Like I have like four dogs. I have 4 birds. Well, that's because that's because my main factory of making kids nest closed, no? So doon na lang tayo sa mga animals. So I have that. And my main focus talaga now is Cat Arambulo Studio Cares, which is something that I feel was the lesson of all the things that happened throughout the ECQ period. Because I feel that, I'm so blessed with, my family. My husband naman can provide. He doesn't really need my income for the household, which I'm fortunate for. So I realized that whatever it is I'm earning, and I have, that's what I should be also giving back. It's not just all about me, but what I can do also for other people. So that's really my dedication now. So from that, I learned that, everything that I do from now on, this is Cat 2.0, this is Cat 2.0. Everything that I do from now on, all my projects, all my investments, all my sources of income, I will have a percentage there that gives back. It's not just for me. So
that's cool. So yeah, we can go into the details of that, but I'm gonna ask Dani. Dani, tell me about something about yourself, Dani.
I mean, I'm just 18, so I'm a student. I will be a student for a while. I'm a daughter, and coming into leadership and everything. I just started as a student leader in my school, also a student athlete
Okay.
for a while, and then I founded my own organization because it's just service has no bounds. Like you don't have to be a leader when you have a position in a school. Like you can make your own thing, you can initiate your own thing, and
Okay.
that's what I did because I just felt like it's an advocacy that I really believe in, and if not,
Okay.
who will do it? So
Yeah.
might as well just do it myself.
I'm gonna go back to also to your advocacy as well, but I'm gonna focus first on your dynamics as mother and daughter. So,
Depends.
Dani, what kind of mom is Kat? What kind of mom is she?
She's a caring mother, a selfless mother, definitely one that I learned from in ways that it's not just like by example. Like obviously she does things that I want to follow, but there are also times where I learn from her mistakes.
Oh yeah. Which is what she taught me also. We were fighting when it happened
Yeah.
because I couldn't get it.
I was like, can you not put an apology up yet? Can you think about it first? And then she was like, no, I'm gonna put it up. And I was like,
Yeah, I'm very impulsive.
Oh, okay, okay.
Oh, yeah, she's very
Ikaw, Kat, what do you think? What kind of a mom are you? Your impression of your mommy skills.
me, kasi I'm not a strict parent, only because I grew up in a very strict household. My mom and dad
Okay.
were like, it was very, very hard because even my grandparents were involved in raising us, right?
not strict at all.
Which is why, me, I'm not strict, right? See, that's why I'm not strict at all. For me, as long as you do what you need to do, you tell me everything. Don't lie to me because I'm like the most easiest person to talk to. We're good.
Mm.
Do whatever you want, diba? I
like
support
if I
you.
want to go out, she has to
Yeah.
force me to go out.
Yeah, and I'm like, Dan, what are you gonna wear? Huwag naman rubber shoes, ganyan, you know. I'm so cool like that, right? And I always tell her, Dan, bring your friends over. If you want to drink, drink because I don't drink, right? But I want you to know what you're capable of doing. Like, the worst thing to have is a messy drunk, right? I told you this.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to always carry yourself no matter what. So I want you to test it out. If you want to try to drink here. If you want to learn how to smoke, do it here. But I can monitor you, I mean, it's not that I'm being consentidora. If she's going to do it, she's going to do it behind my back. So I'd rather
true.
be there, to guide her. So I think the way I raise her is I educate her. I don't hide her because kasi
Transparent.
I'm so transparent. My mom would hide things. She told me that she was an honor student and all this. And then I come home to Manila, my Lola shows me all her grades. So like, I'm like, oh my God, mom. My mom is going to kill me.
But I was just gonna say, it's like,
Okay, but it's the truth, right? So for me, I want her to know everything so that she learns from my mistakes. Take whatever you want, do whatever you want, but at least my guidance, diba? That with a real thing. Naman it's
Okay,
fake.
we're talking about your guidance now. So when Dani arrived, what's the first thing you thought? I have to teach this to my daughter. What's the first thing, Kat? That oh my God, I have to brainwash my daughter with this.
Cool. Oh my gosh. So I had her when I was in the States, right? So the first thing I did, I was like, oh my gosh, because when I had her, I was, of course, my parents were still sending me money in the States. After ng buhay ko kasi walang bantay, right? My Lola and my grandparents were still alive also. So, I had, the luxury of everything. So when I had her, I was like, oh my God. And my Lola and my mom wanted me to come home. They're like, umuwi ka na. Nabuntis ka, umuwi ka. And, me, I'm like, no. I'm not going to go home until I finish this, regardless. So, that's when I realized I got to get my life together to ensure that I bring her into a world that, that is, something that she would be proud of, and I can raise a child to become a woman that I would want her to be, or she, at least my good foundation siya. So I really learned how to be responsible, I think. Even if medyo sometimes pakalat-kalat ako, but generally, I mean, I have naman things.
and you take accountability for everything.
Yeah, that also.
Everything. She's not gonna lie and say, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. She will take
Bobby, for I did it, yeah. But yeah. No, but I think that was the main thing talaga, the responsibility of having to raise another life. I didn't want her to be a lost chicken there, and doing whatever. I wanted, of course, her to have a strong foundation, diba?
Yeah.
And I have to really lead by example, right? How can I tell her to be a hardworking woman and be a strong girl if I'm not one myself, right? So I think it was very important for me talaga to really get my life together as together as I could possibly be, and try to be the person that I would want her to be growing up into. Especially at the time, I was also a single mom, right? For a while, so until I found Carlo. So that was kind of a challenge. But buti na lang, I have a very strong support group. My parents are like glue.
Okay, like glue. So what did you guys usually fight about growing up? Of course, sometimes, it's not all peaches and cream, right? What was something that you all always like bicker about?
I mean, when I was 8, I'd like lie.
Maybe 8 lying, because if there's one thing that was very important to me in teaching her, it's always accountability and never to lie. Because for me, I grew up kasi always lying, and my mom really was hard on me and tough on me about always saying the truth, no matter how bad it is, because the truth will always come out, diba? So I think with you, that's how when you were growing up, I was so strict about that. So I really, won't let her get away with anything, especially when it comes to lying. So now we're.
So how do you teach that? How did you teach that? And how did you learn it, Dani?
Exactly the way I learned it also. Like if I am caught lying or my mom thinks I'm lying, she is gonna research, she's gonna call everyone and make sure and rub it in my face that booking ka na. No point for you to lie. Aminin mo na lang. And because at least if you apologize and you admit everything, wala na. You just have to move forward. But if it's still there, it's going to haunt you forever, right? So that's what I did to you.
Yeah, if there's one thing that my mom is, she's the realest person. Like, she'll tell you as it is. She'll tell you direct. She's not going to beat around the bush.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe too real, but she's the realest.
No, because I also tell her, the way I grew up also, is that there's nothing anyone can tell me, like, cat, pangit mo, tabang, whatever. There's no words that anyone can say to me that can hurt me, because it's nothing that I've never heard before. Or my mom taught me enough to be able to stand my ground and hold, and I know myself well enough, right? Like with you also, like, okay, you're going to be scared of whatever someone else says. Be scared about, you grow up into that environment. So you're bulletproof, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Talking about that, no, sometimes the challenges for the younger women is, of course, the self-worth, diba? It's not that you usually get it when you're older. But times are different now, especially with social media, right? Because unlike nung panahon natin, Kat, when we are not invited to a party, we don't know because there's not on Facebook, diba? But now the kids, they know that they're not invited, that their clothes were criticized. How are you able to marry that, especially that you're a social media person? And of course, Dani was also trying to grow up.
Yeah. No, I think the big thing is kasi Dani also is not very much social media, right? Like, and me also kasi, like, parang I have a bubble, right? I'm in my bubble. Like, if you don't invite me, I don't really care, which is also how you were raised, right? Like, parang, if I'm invited, I'm grateful and I'll go and I'll re-support. But if not, okay lang. I don't know. I guess also it's having a good foundation of your own self-worth and having such a strong dynamics with your own family that you don't need to look for it outside. So I think that would be very, very important also and crucial to someone growing up, right? Because the foundation needs to be strong. You need to know yourself and know what's important and edit that. And I think you learned that early on. Like we edited early on pa lang eh. It's different.
So Dani, how did your mom teach you that? Being confident on yourself, diba? Knowing your self-worth. Kasi there's a lot of teenagers that are medyo lost in that, and parents lost din kung paano ituturo. How did your mom teach that to you?
I think for younger people and even parents, it's easier said than done. Like, you can say, I will be self-confident, I will love myself, but then you can say that and it's not gonna happen. But what I learned growing up is that you go at your own pace. Like, life isn't a race. You don't have to get invited to all the parties. You don't have to get high grades. You don't have to do this and do that. It's not a structure, which is so funny because, like, I'm such a structured person, very type A personality. Yeah. But learning the flexibility of life and that you don't have to run and win the race. Like, it's about the journey getting there.
Yeah, it's like what Daddy said, diba? If you're running that rat race at the end, even if you're first, you're still a rat.
You're still a rat.
Why would you follow that? But ayoko maging daga, no? Please. Diba? I mean, think about it. So, I mean, I think it's the mindset. Diba?
So, Kat, how did you teach it naman to her? Kasi yun yung specific practical tips that moms are looking. Did you push her to be Grade
be
straight
honest,
A's or
no.
panabayaan
Are
mo
you
lang
kidding
talaga?
me, Danny? Can you tell them? Not at all. Like, pasado lang, okay na yan.
I guess the only fights we had was like if I cry about something,
Yeah, don't
like
cry.
grades, or if like I'm like saying, "Oh, this is so hard." She's like, "It's okay. You don't have to get perfect.
Yeah.
It's okay. As long
Life
as
is
you
life
pass
is
and it's
harder. Diba? No, she would cry over like if not even bagsak ha, like to say a few mistakes lang. I'm like, Dan, okay na yan. Remember you're crying for an 89 or something? Sabi ko, ako nga, pasada lang or at least hanging 74, 75, pwede na. You know, it's not gonna dictate how successful you will be in life. Sabi ko, before, remember, always yung aim was like Ivy League, you know, all these school, whatever. I was like, you know, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. For me, what is important is as long as you're happy, and you enjoy your life and you do well, you're not stepping on anyone's toes, and what, you know, you don't need to pressure yourself so much, because if you're living by pressure, being pressured, not enjoying, di syempre it's also pilit, no? You radiate kasi from within eh. So if you're,
That's right.
you know, diba? If you're struggling and you're trying to please other people, wala, you're not eventually gonna maximize your full potential, diba?
It's
Ito,
like,
medyo deep. Ito,
Mm.
medyo deep. I'm gonna ask you, Dani. What is your most treasured learning from your mom?
wow.
When? Which time?
Well, yeah.
Or
Oh,
yung
which
something na,
time?
you know, when you're having a hard time or a tough time, talagang, this is the thing that always, oh nga, sabi ng mommy ko, ito yun.
She never said this to me. I think it's through her actions. It's that a step back or a baby step forward is still a step.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have a setback, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. You can still step forward. There's still a chance for you to change, to grow.
Yeah.
And like with everything that happened before ECQ or the start of ECQ, that's definitely what happened. I mean, there was a step back, not just one, maybe like 10.
Wait, ha? He was the one that was crying, ha, during that thing that happened to me, ECQ, not me. I was like so annoyed because I'm like, why are people I couldn't get it. I was like, why are you mad at me? She was
Just
the one
trying
crying.
to explain.
She was so affected. No, because she was the one also being you, diba? They were messaging her, they were bashing her. So she was the one getting the brunt of it because I'm just like, oh, Dani, turn off your social media. Don't even read it because you know me well enough. Like, don't get affected by that. And she's like, yeah, but it still hurts, you know.
Yeah.
When I hear things, people say things about my mom. No. I was like, Dan, do you see me crying? Are you joking me? You know me well enough. Sabi ko, none of those things affect me. What affects me is how it affects you people. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's not that. And then she was like, yeah, but I don't like people saying these things. So that was a really big learning experience for the two of us also, because this is the first time she ever cried about anything. She didn't cry.
I don't know.
This is the first time she really released her emotions when she was so affected that people were bashing me. I'm like, okay, at least now I know you're ready to go to the States, because now I know that now, after this experience, it was like a national thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kaya mo na
Was a
yan.
big
Kaya mo na yan. Kaya mo na yan. So,
Okay, so I'm gonna go back to this, to this COVID issue, diba? This pandemic issue. Syempre, we already know what happened, you know. It's how did it change you guys? How did it change your dynamics as mom and daughter?
Oh, I think it brought us closer
For one
Grabe.
thing, like we're doing these like non-profit
together.
things together.
We always
Yeah.
thought that we were opposites, diba? Like, well, if there's one thing that I realized, or we realize that we have in common, is that we really share the same passion for giving back and helping our community. Because I've been like this ever since I was young. I've been like this always ever since. But for some reason, I got lost in the whole, you know how it is, how life
Social
goes.
media,
You know,
yeah.
the whole social media, the whole glitz and glam of the world, that I kind of lost it. And then through that experience, it made me realize, oh shit, you know, I actually used to do this all the time, and this is what makes me feel good. And then, you know, she's been into it ever since also. So that's what really brought us together. And the pandemic really helped us also, because she didn't leave for college now first,
Yeah.
right? She still, but at least we were able to have that time together to really, really get to know each other on an off-school type of thing, right? And do something
Okay.
like,
Sino nauna? So is it Cat Arambulo cares, or it's Dani's advocacy first? Okay,
Kanya.
Dani. So you're the one who influenced your mom.
no, and
So
even
Dani-
until now, she has a full team, huh? Hers is mine kasi is the reason why I don't accept the cash donations is because I don't want to have like the whole accounting team and ganyan. Ako na magbabayad, no? Ako na magagastos. If they want to send stuff, okay lang, I'll include that in the ano. Hers, she has a full team. Like, they have the financial reports. She
Yeah.
has, full accountability in all those things. It's really structured as she is, right? So,
Yeah.
nauna
So tell
siya.
us something. Tell us, Dani, what your advocacy is all about.
Yeah, so I advocate for education, quality education, and also women's rights. So I'm also interning in this nonprofit called She's the First. It's based in NYC, which in addition to women's rights, they also advocate for education. So it's everything's in line. And for me, education, it's not just making sure everyone has access to it, because that in itself is so hard. But then what's even harder is making sure they have access to the tools and resources needed
Yeah.
to be educated, which now in COVID is even harder because online setting, people not being
Yeah.
able to go to schools, like technology. I am fortunate enough and privileged enough to have access to these things, but
Yeah.
how about those people who
Who
don't?
Yeah.
And like I was helping just one community, but that's one community in the entire country.
Yeah.
That-
Imagine the world.
And imagine the world,
Yeah.
like, who doesn't have access to these things. And
Yeah.
I guess learning from being a student leader and also like everything that happened in COVID, you recognizing your privilege is one thing,
Yeah.
but using it is another.
Yeah.
Like you have that choice to use your privilege for the good.
Yeah.
And if you choose to do that, then you're going to be helping so many people.
Yeah, and I think that's also what I realized also. Like before, honestly, if that didn't happen to me, siguro imposed ko na yun first OOTD lang. My usual, promotion ng products or whatever. No, but I realized now through this is that I can actually make a difference with my platform, my network, my resources alone and change real lives. Like, I don't want to be remembered lang as the girl who recommended this and binentahan ko. Ay, si Kat, binentahan ako ng ganyan. Okay na yan. No, I mean, right now is that we can actually put our platforms to really good use and make a difference. Like yesterday, I did something and the guy and si Manong, Charlie, and Nanay Floresita, these two people that were introduced to me by one of my followers who they wanted me to help. I reached out to them. I sent a card to Cavite. They were bawling and they were like, sa tagal-tagal namin nandito, walang pumapansin sa amin. Sabi niya, ikaw pala pinadala sa amin ng Diyos kasi yan ang pinagdadasal namin. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I thought it was just gonna be another Cat Arambulo Studio Cares mission. Little did I know that these little missions make such a big impact on other people's lives. I mean,
That's right.
And Jeanette, like for me, I'm not naman a multinational company. I don't have naman billions to give and help billions of people, right? So focus na lang on what I can and what I'm good at is like, preparing these little packages to make them feel extra special, that people actually really care. And with that, grabe, it has so much power to uplift people and make them feel so good that it's a ripple effect. You'll be surprised about what it can do. It really, diba, Dai?
Yeah, the little things for others are the big things too. Like maybe it's little to us, but it's big to them.
So Dani, your efforts, you support communities to be able to access education. So what specifically do you do for that community?
Oh yeah. Last year we did Project Kapit Bisig where we helped a community in San Mateo Rizal. So we aim to raise funds for tablets and hygiene kits and school supply kits.
Yeah.
So quality education isn't just making sure they're able to go to school, but then making sure they have the overall things that can help them in their education. So in amidst COVID, they need hygiene kits, they need the masks, they need the alcohol, they need school supply kits with all the modules, all the learning materials, and then tablets because they're not going to school in person. It's either their blended learning, which is online and in person, or just online as a whole.
Yeah.
So we were able to raise funds for 65 tablets for the community, which they're sharing. Yeah, and then 300 hygiene kits and 300 school supply kits. But
wow, that's great.
Yeah, which it was so fulfilling. But after that, everything with typhoons and natural disasters happened, and we had to redirect our efforts because we also wanted to help everyone with that too.
So I think it's case to case. There's a main focus, and then depending on what goes on in our country, if people need help, then channel the energies there and the efforts there, right?
Wow, such great tandem,
Yeah, and what's nice about it is like so many people want to, like whenever people want to donate to me and give me money, diba? Ang dami nagbigay sa'yo.
Yeah.
People will like, Kat, I want to donate. I want to give you cash. My mga followers from the US, my other friends who want to do like a collaboration, whatever. If it's cash, I direct them to Landas because they can fully
Yeah.
account and do the whole financial thing. So it's like a perfect team talaga when it comes to these things, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Si Dani may pinagmamayabang yung mom mo, your thing with Michelle Obama. Can you tell us something more about that?
Wait, and she's such a silent worker, huh? I had to ask her so many questions for her to actually tell me, oh yeah, I actually did an interview with Michelle Obama. What? You did what? Hindi niya pinakwento. She doesn't make it kwento. I have to ask. And I have to ask like 10 questions to get one answer, no? Diba? She's a silent worker. She's very humble kasi. Unlike me.
That's
Post mo lang
nice.
po lahat. Oh, proud.
Tell us about that experience, Dani.
Yeah, it was surreal because I looked up to her because she's such a champion for girls' rights and girls' education, and she makes sure that all girls are represented, which is so cool because right now we're doing this for Mother's Day and we're all girls. So like
Yeah.
we're literally
Girl
being
power.
we're literally being represented right now.
Yeah.
And I don't know, coming from the Philippines and being able to represent not just my organization that I've been working with, but also my country is something I was so honored and humbled to do. Yeah.
Wow. I think education for women is very important because
Mhm.
we supported some efforts also. If you'll be surprised that sometimes akala mo hindi it's something that will happen in the past and it's not happening now.
Yeah.
Some women are not, or some girls, teenage girls are not allowed to go to school because they would choose the male kid rather than send the female kid to school. So it's still happening, it's still an issue for women.
Yeah.
And I think it's very important to have education to uplift the self-confidence and self-worth of
Absolutely,
women,
yeah.
diba? So I'm gonna go to what the future looks like for the two of you, for both Cat Arambulo Cares and your Landas. Let's start with you, Dani.
Okay. Again, I'm still very young, so the future is very vast and I hope it's looking bright, but I don't think thinking about the future is what I need to do right now because there's so many things in the present that I need to direct my attention towards. But looking future wise, service just has no bounds. I will continue to serve, and I think not just with Landas, but with my future career path, whatever that may be, it's always going to be rooted in service and helping other people and giving back. So that's what my future looks like.
How about you, Kat? What does Cat Arambulo Cares looks like in the future?
Okay, Cat Arambulo Cares. Okay, so for me, future-wise, I need to actually really do a lot more planning because I really want to be able to maybe educate. I mean, like send a child to school, and carry on until college na, no? So I'm looking into that and seeing how to do that. Like have a scholar under me or a few scholars at that. But for the meantime, what I'm doing right now is for everything that I'm doing talaga, whether it's Cat Arambulo Studio sales, whether it's a project here, project there, collaboration, my investments and other sources of income, there's always going to be a percentage that always goes to Cat Arambulo Studio Cares. And I have pretty much missions, but for sure every month I have. This month alone, I've done 4, right? And I'm doing 2 more pa next week. So, I mean, tuloy-tuloy yan, whether it's for the frontliners, for the less privileged, it's a continuous process because grabe, a lot of people really need a lot of help, and not just financially, but also lifting their spirits. Even our doctors or frontliners, it's such a big thing for them already when they receive these care packages, and now I even involve other children. They draw and design the care bags for the frontliners. And I think also it's good for them to be experience this also so that they know that, hey, you know what? It's documented in the future. What did you do during the pandemic? Oh, look, the frontliner was holding my bag and was so happy. I made her smile, For kids also, it's such a big thing for my younger ones. And now I'm involving friends. I have my Cat Arambulo kids, which I'll be involving also because I kind of got the groove of things. I've done my guinea pig trials now. And so far, it's been so good. And the feedback from the doctors have been amazing. So I think it's just a continuous process of just doing what we can, especially during these times, to just keep continuing helping and being the loving arm and sharing and caring with everyone.
I think the
Okay.
Can I
Yes,
add?
go ahead. Go ahead.
I think we need to make efforts towards sustainable change. Like, you're
Yeah.
not just here to make change, because like change could be a one-time thing.
Yeah.
Like, you can do this, help one person, and then you're not
Yeah.
gonna continue. So it needs to be sustainable. You need to make sure you find
Yeah.
a community,
Which is why I
or
want a
person.
scholar, diba? That's exactly why I want a scholar. So talagang I
So
want
you
to,
can be there in
Yeah.
the whole journey.
because when you change
Wow.
that one person's life, she has, or he or she has a capacity to change that family's life. And when you do that, it just ripples, huh? You every little act of kindness, every little good deed that you, or every little seed that you plant will grow. So you have the choice to plant seeds or be a weed, right? So of course you want to be the
That's
seeds
right.
now.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the tip sides now in
Yeah.
parenting and mommy and being making empowered daughters. So, Kat, I'm gonna ask for a tip from you. You're in
Yeah.
social media. You've experienced the best and the worst of
Yeah.
social media. What will you tell fellow moms there on how they can help mold or guide their daughters on what to put on social media, what's too much,
Yeah.
what are you supposed to really put there, and how you're supposed to guard your mental health against it?
I think it's really educating. For me, because when you educate someone, it's not, you don't hide them from what's really going on. For me, educating is really showing them exactly what's to be expected. And I think I did that with you, right,
Yeah.
Dan? Like, I will say, okay, you can do this, but here's A, B, C, D things that can happen. And it's really up to you on how you want to handle it and what role you want to take. I think a lot of the times, a lot of parents are so guarded with what information to release to their children because either baka they're not ready, baka ganyan. For me, kasi nowadays, this social media technology is too fast. If they don't learn it from me, they're gonna pick it up from someone else.
Never gonna be ready for
They're
it.
never gonna be ready. So for me, talaga, the only way I can protect my kids and educate them for all of these things, the only way I can protect my kids and from all of this is really to educate them on what can possibly happen. And I think also this experience that I went through with social media, I think I've done the best and the worst. Like, especially with my younger kids that want to be on social media, I want them also to see and explain about we have to go through it with them.
Yeah.
Everything that happened to me. I want them to see what I did online because right now they still don't know exactly it. They know that I went they know that I went viral, but they don't know the details yet. So I'm still timing that, but I want them to see the repercussions also about every single thing that I post and all the actions. And you know what? I'm so open with my kids. I even want them to read the comments. Not for anything, no, but because I want to educate them about what's being said about me online, what has been said, and if they have any questions, ask me while I'm still alive, right? No, I mean, I'm just saying, no, para at least they know the answer so that when they're later along the line and their friends are be like, oh, your mom pala went
Better comes
viral,
from
did
you.
this. Yeah, Asher and Alan will be like, yeah, actually, she told me about that. She's like, she was during her stupid moment, she did
Again,
that, right?
accountability.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I guess not a lot of parents choose to do because they want to be that role model or image that they project to be like, the parent that, or the, how do you say it?
Not all role
Yeah.
models are perfect.
Yeah.
I don't think there's such a thing as being perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
right. And I don't want my kids to see or think of me as being paper perfect on paper. That oh,
That's
she
right.
had credentials.
Yeah.
Mommy did this when she's no. I'm like, you know what? Those are just things that are on paper. You learn from me by my mistakes, and that's what's gonna
Yes.
carry you forward, right? And that's what I think I can teach you guys. Really, just
Just be real.
Yes, just be real.
Yeah.
I was
Just be
already
real. Just be vulnerable.
Yeah, and be accountable. I think that's one thing. And just, learn to accept that no one is perfect and people will say things no matter what. So I think that as long as you're not stepping on anyone, you're coming from a good place, you're not pulling anyone down, just do you.
Yeah.
110%
Do you?
do you. Diba?
How about you, Dani? What will you tell naman your age groups, diba? What is it? I'm gonna talk about first, being a leader, not just being a leader, but advocating stuff, doing something, not just being an audience to life, diba? Grabbing it and what is the first step? Because some of them get overwhelmed with the first step.
Mhm.
So,
Sure.
share your experience on how they can take the first step.
I live by this quote. It's when the why is clear, the how is easy. So always going back to your why. As I said, service, no bounds. It shouldn't be an obligation. It should never feel like one. You
Yeah.
shouldn't expect to get
Anything
anything
in
from
return.
it.
Yeah.
It's something that comes from you. So it's your choice, it's your initiative, it's from your drive, your
Yeah.
passion. It's really
Yeah.
up to you, and that's your why. So knowing the genuinity of your intentions, making sure those are purified is the
Yes.
first step. Because now with social media and everything, literally everything, the
Yeah.
first thing that could go in your head is, oh, if I do this, maybe I'll get featured in
Gosh,
blank,
that's so
or
stupid. Yeah.
maybe someone will do this for me. And that's
Yeah.
not what service is. It's not where it should be. It should come from your heart. It should come from you.
Yeah.
And then in terms of social media in general, I guess call out culture and cancel culture is a big thing.
Yeah.
It's a big thing, and it's a big problem.
Yeah.
I would say that calling out people is important, but not canceling them. Calling out is calling them in. You shouldn't call them out to bash them. Call them out to call them in to learn from their mistakes, to understand that when you're presented with new information, change your opinion.
Exactly.
Normalize tough conversations. Like, these are things that they seem so simple, but they're so hard to do.
Yeah.
And I think people should just learn that. Like, have a conversation without any hate or discrimination or prejudice.
Yeah, it's the point is really to just be productive and constructive about it versus being destructive, right? Because all of these
Yes.
social media tools has that power, huh? We don't realize it because we're always on our keyboard and you're not face to face. Imagine, I doubt anyone would say these things to a person if you see them really literally in your face, right?
Yeah.
But because-
Accountability is both ways.
Yeah.
Like, if you're gonna bash someone or call out someone, be accountable for calling them out.
Absolutely.
The same way the person who is called out should be accountable for what she's being called out for.
Yeah. And there's a way to do it. I realize this also Like, even with me, kasi mistake ko rin yun, di ba? Nag-call out na ako kasi nagagalit ako kasi violators, di ba? Not thinking of why they're violating, which is also wrong. But, you're no matter what your intentions are, whether right or wrong, your intentions need to be aligned with your actions and your words. So, because even if my intentions were, oh my God, we need to save the Philippines, we're going to have no hospitals, they're violators, what are they doing? It was not aligned. Kaya hence, ayan, karma's digital, na karma ako. But that the same goes with everything that follows, right? So your intentions need to be aligned with the actions and words. So if your intention is for her to, hey, you did something wrong, I hope you can change it behavior. You're not gonna change that behavior by calling them out and saying, bashing them. You're gonna have to do it in a nice way for them to have a positive outlook in life and a positive change, right? Because remember, ripple effect.
Yeah, Kat, I have a question for you, no? Just something juicy to close the episode.
What?
So,
I like juicy.
Your words.
Filter daw, ayan na.
Filter. No, but you're not the first person who called something out like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not the first person, you're not the first social media personality that said something like that. Why do you think ikaw yung tinamaan?
Di ko alam, I guess, kasi yung pagmura ko, no? They even made me a track. I have a song now, no? So, I mean, I guess, I don't know. At the same, I guess also it was a wake-up call for me. It may not even be about them. It was maybe probably a learning experience that I needed to learn, that God allowed me to go through because I needed to wake up and see myself and see what I was doing and to lead me to where I need to go, right? So I don't even think it's about them. It's really me. So I really need to channel the energy and focus that ako yung mali, ako yung gagawa ng tama, and I have the power to change things and make things better. And I want to use it also as an example to everyone else who makes mistakes online, offline, or whatever. Don't let that mistake define you, because you have that power in yourself. Just really, pakita mo na magaling ka talaga, na hindi ka ganun na tao, you do it. Your actions speak louder than your words. And you can prove it. And, until you're dead, until you're 6 feet under the ground, you have the power to change it and make up for it. There's no way. But it all starts from within. Diba?
That's nice. That's a great learning. Thank you for sharing. Guys,
Diba,
thank you
adulting na,
for
adulting
sharing.
na ako, no?
Adulting.
What do you think? Am I becoming a mom na? Mom, a real mom?
You're so funny.
She's proud mother.
Okay. Guys, stay into the episode. Let's chat about the possible collaboration. Let me just close the episode and then let's chat afterwards.
Okay.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for sharing your heart with us, Cat and Dani. Please invite the audience where they can follow you or where they can, if they want to contribute to your advocacies, where can they find it and where can they donate?
Okay, guys, you can follow me at Cat Arambulo, or you can check out Cat Arambulo Studio Cares on Instagram.
I'm at Antonio on Instagram, and then my organizations are landas.ph, accord.org.ph, and at She's the First. Yes.
Wow, that's great. So I hope everybody that's watching, please, if you have something that you can contribute, please get in touch with both Cat and Dani. Very good advocacies. Now it's time for me to share our learnings from this episode. Of course, at the end of the day, it's your best life in bullet points. What I learned today from our two lovely guests is, of course, to educate your kids. Life is so fast. It's better they learned it from you. Teach accountability. People will make mistakes. We will never be perfect. The whole journey of life is about improvement. So we will really make mistakes so that we can be better. I think it's also, I learned from Kat to be open and be vulnerable about your mistakes to your kids so that they would also learn from your mistakes as well. And the other thing about service is no bounds. Please, if you're going to give, you don't need to expect anything, give it from your heart. It's something that you need to do. It's something to enrich your spirit. I also like what Dani said, the cancel culture, the calling out, it's really getting out of hand. It's, it's against being human because everybody makes mistake. So I think what's better than calling them out or canceling them is calling them in so that we can foster the development and improving and learning. And lastly, from Kat, from her experience, very, very good learning. Don't make your mistake define you. You made a mistake, you're human, learn from it, move forward. With that said, I hope you guys learned a lot from this episode. Such a great episode, and I hope to see you next week for 5:30 p.m. Thursday again. You can also catch our episodes on Chic Driven TV. Please subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get updated on our latest content. You can catch some of my written works in The Inquirer, Lifestyle Asia, and OneMega.com. If you have any suggestions, just please DM us on our social media pages. Thank you so much for joining us and happy Mother's Day. This has been Janati Paputwason and this is your best life in bullet points.
All right.
Great. Thanks.